Thank you. First, I want to thank everybody that has come up here today because they have set me up beautifully. Everything that we have talked about today, best I can tell, networking, workforce for change, controlling costs of team sport, and re-energize your growth. That's what I'm about to talk about. Because our industry on the whole is changing every day. Whether we like it, whether we think it's the right thing, everything is changing all the time. So Equipment Depot and Equipment EQ Solutions, we provide solutions that move products from the port to the shelf and everything in between. What we want to do is we want to partner with the Wilson Warehouses of the world, with all the other people that are out here today that provide the space. We want to make your bucket a lot more efficient. So going to talk a few things. So first thing, just real high level, we kind of got set up on this was, this is our portfolio. Everything nowadays is being automated. Now, the kicker on this is going to be at what level of automation do you want to do, right? So we've got plenty of options that can, go from, hey, we want that dark warehouse. We want, I want to literally have a robot unload that truck and then have another robot pick it up and then put it on a conveyor system, shoot it into a rack, sit there, and then have that rack unload itself. Like, those are the realistic possibilities. What I'm going to do at the end is I'm going to show you 10 examples of projects that we've completed across the country that are beginning those processes. Everybody's case study is going to be fact dependent. So, I want you to know that that's what we do. We partner with people in order to provide solutions. Talking to some folks, and they really, a lot of the, so for instance, like in oil and gas, they want to farm it out, right? They want to say, okay, I want to give you this many pallets, and then I want to tell you when I want this many pallets back, right? That's where we can be of value. So, conveyance systems, robotic systems, ASRS, packing systems, anything that is a repetitive task, right? So you've got a guy that puts a pallet on a shrink wrap machine, waits for it to be shrink wrapped, and then pulls it back off and then puts it on a conveyor belt. Why? Why are we wasting that little movement right there? So that's where we're trying to go. We have partnered with all different kinds of brands. The reason I really wanted to show this is there's multiple options all over the world. There are options that are new to the U.S. There are options that are been in the U.S. for 20, 30 years. These are options out there that can make your process more efficient. And yes, we have robots. They're coming. You can't stop it. I know everybody's seen the Terminator movies and everything like that, but that's not what this is, right? We still have to have people to wire them in and tell them what to do. They're not fully, aware, right? You still have to have people. So when we're going back to some of the original conversations this morning, when we're talking about, oh, hey, there are these people that, they don't necessarily want our jobs. You start putting stuff like this in front of them, and this is their skill set. My generation, we grew up on video games. Let them program your robots. Tell them what to do. Create a maximized efficient warehouse. I'm not showing the video because it's a few minutes long and it takes too much time. I would love to show you this video personally, but want you to know that the capabilities are growing daily. This truck right here, you work an iPad, it shows up, you tell it how many pallets are in that truck, and it unloads it, and it stations it right outside the truck for another truck or somebody else to come pick it up. That is a real truck. It's real. It's here. So know that that's a possibility. This project, so a few things here. This is a manufacturer of welding supplies. I think I've chosen enough case studies that our company has done across the country to demonstrate a few things. It's not just one box. It's not. It's welding supplies for a hardware store. That is the longest continuous conveyor system installed in the country, right there. Because it came in as just, hey, we want to get more efficient, okay? So customer is expanding their 500,000 square foot warehouse. So what do they want to do? Well, they want to be more efficient. So we put packing stations along the way. It shrink wraps and case seals. It does all those repetitive tasks that we're having problems finding labor for, right? We're having problems finding labor, to shrink wrap things, to case seal, to put a label on it, right? Let's automate those things. Now this one, this is wild right here. And this is so wild that I cannot actually speak intelligently about it, because that man right there, Cooper, designed it, and he is way smarter than me. But what it does is there's two different levels to it. There's a storage space, and then there's a picking space, and it's all fed through different conveyors and different robots and these are the kinds of projects that are going on across the country, and if you're not paying attention, you're going to get passed by. So yes, it's got a high price tag. Yes, it's in Hamilton, New Jersey, but don't let that scare you. Know that those things are available to you, but we have to have the vision, and we have to have an understanding of where our industry is going and what we need to be prepared for. Again, going back, these things are coming. Change is coming. Are you prepared for it? Are you ready to go forward, or are you resistant to it? So this one, yes, guess what? You can put a automated system in a cold storage. That man right there did it. He designed this system. So it's order fulfillment lines, automated palletizing, pallet transportation, and automated shuttle storage in a cold storage facility. Processes meat, and I'm sure that if we told you the name, then you'd probably know everybody's probably eaten that meat in the past week and a half, unless you're a vegetarian. So, but again, these are the kinds of concepts that are out there and being proliferated, whether we want them to or not. But these are the things that we're going to. Now this one is wild. So this is a 3PL company with warehouses in several different locations all across the country. They were going to expand their infrastructure, but what they needed was they needed us to come in and fully maximize that footprint. Because if we didn't, then they would just have this big building, right? So the conveyor system is for outgoing goods from order starts with carton erectors, or manually through the labeling, carton sealing, sorting, outbound truck loading. Includes largest cross belt sorter for Interroll in this country. Interroll is one of our providers. Work streams that were included on this project was the design, the engineering, permitting, project management, and turnkey installation. So those are the things that we offer particularly, but it's one of those things that we have to be involved from concept, right? You need to find people that you can partner with, right? I think we've heard about that all day long. Finding partners to energize your business, finding partners to provide you solutions, and that's what we do, and that's where the industry is going. So, a conveyor sorter, okay, e-commerce. This is a e-commerce facility selling world-class brands across the country. Their business model is to provide discounted pricing of luxury and high-end products for men's and women's apparel, handbags, etc. So guess what? There's a lot of things right there. And how many different bag sizes are there? How many different box sizes? Ms. Bonnie, right? Yeah. So I think to your point, I think you said something earlier. Y'all have different size trucks, right? You have different size solutions to get this piece of furniture versus that piece of furniture to where it needs to go. That's where we want to be. We want to make those processes seamless so that you can have the most streamlined, efficient process. What does that do for us? It takes some of the unskilled labor and or the hardest labor to find in the market out of the equation and makes it to where we're upping our game. We're taking the labor that's in the market and teaching them some different skills and some skill sets that they already have and just maximizing it, right? We're making it a fun place to work because who doesn't want to work with something like that? Who wants to walk in and go, guys, have you seen this thing? Have you seen this thing operate? Like, I get to go and operate this thing all day long. So those are the kinds of things that we're working with. Plastics is a huge industry that we're working in right now. So this is one of the more semi-automated projects because it uses AGVs. AGVs are automated guided vehicles. Those are literally forklifts, for lack of a better term, without operators. So there's drive-in selective racking. So that means that most of the racking that you're already familiar with, it uses a lot of those familiar concepts, and then it just adds AGVs into those lanes and allows them to accelerate your production goals and or warehousing goals, I'm sorry. Lastly, this is a manufacturer of sports equipment. Again, just further demonstration. We've got all different kinds of products. We got all different kinds of shapes and sizes and boxes and pallets, and there's all different types of ways to segment this thing. And again, the price point is it's a huge upgrade to this facility, but it doesn't quite have the price tag that some of the other ones do. Pallet shuttles, those were shown earlier. Some in working condition. It allows you to really up your footprint game. So everybody in here has got a box, right, to work in. Well, let's make it the most efficient box that it can possibly be, right? I think there was a question earlier about how much spec square footage is there in the country, right? And the answer was not a lot. It's kind of a floating number, but I kind of got the impression that there wasn't like, oh, yeah, plenty. Spec buildings are going up all the time for warehousing. I don't get that is the answer, right? So what we've got to do as an industry is we've got to become more efficient with our footprint. I've said a lot of words, and I tried to keep it to about 15 minutes. My biggest goal today was to spark your imagination, because guess what? Just like the double drive-through, you've got the solutions in you, right? You've got an idea. You've been thinking about this. Our deal is partnering with you to make that dream a reality, to make those those efficiencies come alive, that ROI come alive. I'm Andrew, and I really appreciate your time today. Thank y'all.